Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Six Figure Souls Doing Good and Making Money. I am Camille Miller, your host and founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership, a global network for soul centered entrepreneurs. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Gail Lynn, who's the inventor of the Harmonic Egg. Gail, welcome to our interview series.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
I know. I just felt like you did the application. I read it and I was like, yeah, I gotta meet this girl.
I love it.
So I'm so excited to have you. So excited to have you. So will you share a little bit of your backstory before we kind of go into what the harmonic egg is and how it came to be?
Sure. The day I was born, I wanted to change the world, and
Well, that hasn't changed.
it hasn't changed. So I get out of high school and I get into automotive, and I work in automotive as an engineering assistant, and I'm building DC motors, and I'm having a blast. And there's 31 guys in a lab with two women. How is that not fun? Right. So that was my most favorite job, and I loved it, but it wasn't changing the world. I get a job offer to move to Texas to get into telecom. I help build an international telecom communications company. We're in Egypt. We're during the .com. It's like exploding. We're charging $250 an hour for our services, which is crazy. And then the .bomb happened, right? And here I'm like 28, 29 years old. So everything, paying cash for cars and traveling all
Yeah.
over the world. And then that comes to a halt, and I wasn't changing the world. So then I end up going to a karate school and meet this guy who says he's Elvis Presley's stepbrother. And I'm like, sure you are. Like, Elvis Presley was Mickey Mouse. Like, you can't, he's an icon, right? And so he gets like all upset, and he's like, I am Elvis Presley's stepbrother. And I was like, well, so he starts showing me pictures. He's like, here's a book I wrote. Here's all this stuff. Here's me and Elvis. I'm like, okay, sorry, dude. So get into Hollywood. And well, basically, he was communicating to me that he couldn't be bigger than Elvis. And since Elvis was his father figure, you always want to be better than your father figure. So
Yeah.
Elvis was his father figure, his mentor, his friend, his boss. And I said, what couldn't Elvis do? And he said, Elvis could do anything. Elvis could go through the president's drawers and take stuff out of just walk into their office. Elvis could get a police badge from any city we visited. And so I finally got him to admit that Elvis wanted to be a director of a film, but his management, Colonel Parker, would not let him. He was a singer, he was an actor. That's it. I said, well, I guess you're directing a film then. And he said, well, have you ever made a movie? I said, no, but how hard can it be? Stupidest thing I ever said.
Yeah.
7 years later, we premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, walked the red carpet, came out on
Wow.
DVD, and so we did it. But
Incredible.
it did not change the world.
Yeah.
But then I found myself in severe cardiovascular stress, on the verge of a heart attack, 37 years old, because I just, kicked butt for all these years. So I found sound and light therapy and flew out to Arizona to try a device. It was like a light box using sound and light. And within the weekend, my severe cardiovascular stress was balanced and normal. And what we call a heart rate variability test. And
Okay.
as an engineer, I couldn't make that fit in my brain. How can I lay in a box with some music and a crazy light and heal? Did not make sense. So fast forward, the harmonic egg was created.
Okay. So we should probably add that you are an engineer. You didn't just kind of go, huh, let me see if these lights work.
Right, right. Yeah.
So how did that let me like form this in my head because I have like
Sure.
all
Oh,
these
gosh,
questions
it's
going
a lot.
in my head. So where did that start the driver inside of you to say, I got this. I'm going to create my egg, my thing.
That took a while. So I felt like I had a mentor in the field of sound and light therapy, and I opened up a center in 2010 in Denver, Colorado. and I was using, his technology. But then I kept hearing people complaining about different aspects of this box that didn't work for them. And then I started to have visions, almost like downloads. I saw this large wooden egg and I'm like, I don't know where that's coming from, but maybe this can be built. And I saw sound spiraling around people sitting in a zero gravity chair and reclined and more comfortable. And I saw heavy people not having to lay flat on their back and having trouble getting up and, getting the creaks worked out after they, got up after lying flat for an hour. I saw beautiful music. I saw musicians making music and intellectual property for the Harmonic Egg. And then I went to a manufacturer and I said, hey, this is what I want to build. And he said, it can't be done. I was like, no. If Walt Disney said, you can dream it, you can do it, then I can do it. And he said, well, you're not Walt Disney. I said, well, no, but I can do this. So I talked to a couple people. We spent a year making a prototype and we did it.
Wow.
And then I called him up and I said, hey, I've got a prototype here. And he's like, no way. But yeah, we do. So he drove down.
Like, I got this.
Yeah. I got
Hold my beer.
Don't ever tell me I can't do something.
Love it.
So he came out and he was FaceTiming with his staff and saying, okay, well, here we might have trouble with this component and this didn't go together correctly. We'll have trouble forming this bend and this curve. And we have 15 centers from California to North Carolina now.
Wow.
Crazy.
Incredible. And what year was this?
2016. I came up with it.
You came up with it, and then
a year later, so 2017, we went into production. Yeah, and it happened really fast. I mean, amazingly fast.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you started to scale it. So I'm sure there's people watching this that have thought of something, invented something, and they're totally sitting on it right now thinking, yeah, it's not, like, I can't do it.
Yeah. So, I didn't have the money to do the research and development. Okay. I really didn't. And, you kind of, I feel like I asked the universe, can you come up with a way that I can have the money to do the research and development? And this is a horrible story, but this is really what happened. I feel like I had guides, if you believe in guides or angels, and they were like above and they said, she's just not getting it. We have to do something to kind of blast her into another reality so that she can create this and it can happen. I actually got in a severe car accident. Probably had a brain injury of some sort. But because I had the sound and light therapy and the sound and light technologies, if you can get the trauma to release within 6 hours, the cells don't have time to remember it, so they won't store in the cells.
Interesting.
Blast things into your cell memory, but if you can release it within 6 hours, that's kind of the magic number. The cells don't remember it. So I got right into the other box that I had, and the insurance company gave me $40,000. I didn't know they did this. I did not know. They settled. I wasn't going to sue or anything like that. I don't do that stuff.
Right.
And all of a sudden I get a check for 40 grand and I'm like, what's this for? That's our settlement for you because it was our driver's fault. Guess where I got the money from to do the research and development?
Wow.
I know it's weird. I know it's crazy, but that's really what happened. And I feel like my guides were like, okay, we're just going to hit her and she'll be fine. But this is how we're going to get her to do that. Now, I don't recommend anybody trying to do that, but there's ways that the universe is going to support you.
Yeah. It's more about putting that out there and saying, I'm ready to step into success.
Yeah,
right? I'm ready for this.
Pain, of course, but yes, I'm ready to step into that. So you're right.
Yeah.
So you put it out there and I visualize stuff. I can see stuff. I will set an intention. Intention is so important.
Agreed.
Intention. Feel that it's already happened. I mean, I was having dreams where I was seeing myself on covers of magazines and being interviewed. I was on Gaia TV and, and it was all stuff that I manifested. And then people just started calling and said, can I buy one of these? And I was like, sure, you can. It was just weird. But when you're in your flow and when you're in your what you're supposed to do
Yeah.
with your destiny and your passion,
Yes.
everything just
It
works.
just clicks.
It
Yeah.
just clicks.
Yep. I totally get that. Yeah. When I decided to do what I'm doing, I decided it, but I think it didn't click for a while. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, I got this. And it was just like, whoosh.
Yeah,
Right?
you almost get pulled by your heart, and it's like
Yeah.
pulled. Yeah,
And then everything conspired around me.
yeah.
It was just like things just kept showing up and showing up, and
Because the
it's a
world
wild ride.
conspires to make you successful because you're going
And
for
you're
it.
ready.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. All
And
right,
then
so
the
you
pandemic hit
got production, you got a couple sales under you. How did you start to grow to, would you say 17 centers that you have today?
right now. Yeah, 15. But we have already sales booked out until December, the end of this year, and already 2 in 2021 that are
Cool.
going to be delivered. It's crazy.
Wow.
Um,
So is it a
so,
franchise idea?
it's
Okay.
a family. I
I
believe
like you.
in cooperation. I don't believe
Yeah.
in competition at this point. I think 2020, we are into, and I'm gonna sound like a crazy female, but we're in the divine feminine. We're into cooperation. We're into not the competition, and we're getting out of the patriarchal model and getting more into the matriarchal model.
Yeah, I believe that.
Feel like I have a family. I don't want to do a franchise. People are going to work their tail off to grow their own small business. So I don't want to take anything from them. Just like I didn't want anybody to take anything from me.
Of course.
My hard work is my hard work. And what I put into it, I want to get out of it. So no, I don't have a franchise model. I have a family model where they're all family.
I love that. That's why with NLBP, I don't have chapters. People are always like, do I have to? I was like, no, because the way chapters usually work in an organization is the head person is being paid to run like a pod of it. And I
Right.
was like, I don't want that. I want us all to be about the wisdom of all of us always.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's no boundaries to what we do always. So
And
yeah, I love that family model.
Yeah, and they love their eggs. So guess what? All the eggs are infused with love. And when that's the highest vibration, that's the highest energy. So when people go in to an egg, they tell me they feel wrapped in a hug, or they feel in a womb, or they feel in a cocoon, and they feel that love that is um, in infused
Yeah.
inside of all the eggs. Yeah. And some of
Yeah.
the center owners have named their eggs. It's so beautiful. It's such a gift.
I love that. I love that. And I like you believe that 2020 is this year. I call it my year. Like I pick a word every year, and my word this year was relationships.
Okay.
And it was really because I felt that everything was built on relationships, and the more relationships and co-collaborations that I did, the more we all expanded. So that was my year. And I have to tell you, going through what we're going through right now in this pandemic, it's the relationships that's keeping it together.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and what's
It's a crazy time right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you told me a pretty interesting story when we were doing our pre-interview about the distance healing that you're able to do right now, which I don't know if you've tried it before this COVID or if it's just something you did because of the situation that we're in and how amazing that. So I'm a big believer in, distance healing or surrogate work or, because energy is energy. So want to
Right.
share that story?
So I'm an engineer, so I didn't really believe that this could possibly work. But I see the pandemic coming. I know how hard it is for small businesses and probably large businesses to build momentum. I had some great momentum going, and I'm like, well, I'll be dang if I am going to quit or if I'm going to close. I don't want to collect unemployment. I don't want any of it. I want to succeed. How
Yeah.
can I reinvent myself? How can we reinvent the center? How can we stay in business? So I had a dream because they usually come at the hours of the waking hours of the morning as I get these ideas. And my boyfriend says, you need to stop coming up with good ideas because then you get all stressed out trying to implement them. So I said, okay, what if we do distance healing? People don't want to be touched. People don't want to go out of their house. They don't want to, be around other people. We're social distancing. Well, we're a no touch modality anyway. We're non invasive. We can social distance, but people wanted to stay in their homes. So I said, let me test my brother first, because my brother's a super non believer. And I said, if he feels anything, then I'm going to go for this. And he said 6 times during the session. So basically, I take a picture of the person
Yeah.
with their full birth name and their birth date, and they literally go in the egg. Everything's energy, it's quantum. So energetically, they're in the egg. My brother said he felt chills 6 times during the 50-minute session, and he saw a woman's face, which he doesn't even talk like this. And he said, I was trying to follow the face and see who it was. My mom passed away a few years ago. I feel like maybe it was her. And he said it was crazy. He said, I don't know what happened, but I had a sore throat for weeks. And he said, it's gone. I said,
Wow.
4, we're doing distance healing. We're doing remote sessions. We have been back to back every hour on the hour, people going into the egg with their picture from New York, from England, from Canada, all over the world to do distance healing in the egg. And I have had 2 people that actually had a smell. When a physical person is in the egg and you're releasing toxins, sometimes the room will smell like a mold or a metal or something. Had 2 distance healing sessions where there was a smell in the room.
Wow.
My engineering mind still can't figure this out, but it's working, and people are reporting amazing results. And like you said, you know that remote healing, surrogate, work actually works.
Yeah, I, like you, didn't always believe it. I had a hard time.
Like, what?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so before all of this, were you a spiritual person? Did you consider yourself spiritual or
I
soul-centered, however you look at it?
I did not. It wasn't until 98. That's when I started to explore spirituality. Because
Okay.
I grew up in Detroit, blue collar environment, very pessimistic. My dad only had an education up to 7th grade. So I was not introduced to anything, actually my dad thought I was quite crazy. And when I started carrying rocks around, he said, you need to get the rocks out of your head. Because I'm like, oh, this rock does this and this rock does that. My dad's like, yeah, you got rocks in your head. So no, I wasn't always spiritual, but it's undeniable now. The experiences that I've had and the clients that have been in and the stories they've told me about what happened to them in the egg, I can't deny it
Hard
anymore.
to deny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unbelievable. So I'm just curious because sometimes as we have spiritual awakenings or we move up in careers or, our life levels change, you lose people along the way. Did that happen to you as far as I just like people to know that it's not just them? You shouldn't hold on to everyone.
Yes. You change your radio station. So the people that are on 99.5, when you move up to 101.1, they drop off. You don't,
Yeah.
they're just not,
It's kind of natural.
it's not that you don't love them any
Yeah.
less or any different, but they're just a reason, a season, or a lifetime that people come into, your world. And so sometimes they're just the season and it's done. And they've taught you what you needed to teach them, and they've taught you what they were going to teach you. And if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, I've had people fall off, and it's been sad, sometimes very sad. There were some of my best friends and fallen off because the radio station changes. I've raised my vibration, and in a 2D world, what's good or bad, higher, lower, you're just on a different frequency.
Yeah, yeah. Is there someone or that or a group, whatever, that you align yourself with now?
That's a great question. I don't necessarily. I really listen to a lot of Lee Carroll's Cryon channels.
Okay.
Um, I read a lot of spiritual books. And then there's a doctor, I couldn't even begin to tell you her name.
Okay.
Uh, but she's a medical doctor, and she's an Eastern Indian, so the name is
Okay.
very Kolorit, I think is the first name. But she wrote a book on sound medicine, and I've really connected with that as well. And I just love that a medical doctor is writing about sound medicine.
Sound. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we're coming into the future of medicine. Frequency medicine is the future of medicine. It's non-invasive. It's really the alternative medicine is big pharma. They have altered native medicine. They're the alternative.
I agree.
We got to
I
get back to
agree.
the native medicine.
I'm kind of feeling that during this time, people, I mean, I felt like it was rising anyway, Even since I've started this community 5 years ago, I think we're in a totally different place than we were. And my background before this was in organic agriculture. And when I started in 2011 being a national speaker against genetically modified foods, like there might be, 10 people in a room. By the time I finished my tours, like 4 years later, there could be 100 people in a room with a TV station. So I felt like it was moving, and that's when I started this community in 2016. And I can tell almost like the consciousness of entrepreneurs themselves are kind of moving too. So it's like heart centered or soul centered. We all call ourselves different. I think holistic is being a little overused. Um, but there's this like uprising. But I feel like during this pandemic, people are reaching out for alternative ways to heal. Like I feel like, especially the soul centered healers that I work with, they are so crazy busy right now. I mean, crazy busy. Because they're embracing something that's different and people are just searching for something different right now to connect to. So
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
can't
working
keep
in our
up.
favor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't keep up. And I agree with you that people are looking for, I'll say, more non-invasive modalities instead
Yeah.
of alternative. We'll say like
Yeah.
non-invasive.
Yeah.
People are starting to see that food needs to be their medicine. Now this pandemic is causing people to see, I think I better start focusing on my immune system
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
I survived the pandemics that, because um, people have survived 20 pandemics in their lifetime. Some people have.
Yeah.
They come and they go, but we have to realize that building our immune system is one of the best ways we can do to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
It's been,
Excellent.
it's been totally crazy. And I feel like you're right. Some of these holistic words, the healing word, they're all being overused. So we're kind of using, manifesting your own health or health manifestation. We're kind of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We switch it up a lot. I think it's all the same, but I
Right.
always tell people, when you belong with us because it's like we embrace both science and soul. So, you know, and the first thing I hear is, wow, I didn't know there were people like me out there. I was like, I
When
know.
we were talking, I said, "You're my tribe. You're my tribe.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my tribe." Because I have been in mentoring groups, I've been in mastermind groups, and I feel like I'm always the one teaching. And I want to learn, you know? And so I felt when we connected, it was just this like little ding.
Yeah. I have
Excitement.
learned so much in this group. Even though I'm the catalyst of pulling us together, I'm not necessarily the know-all. Like I believe that it's a community, right? We share. But I know a lot about business and I know a lot about limiting beliefs, and kind of shifting that part. But I don't know deep, deep, different parts of spirituality. Even talking and doing interviews with people, not just here, but members in the community, and just learning on how they brought their spiritual self into their business is amazing. Like it was just like I would have never thought of that. It's been so amazing, but I have learned so much. Like my vibration just rose being around the people. And I know the group usually when we're together, we're like, it takes me like 2 days to come off, especially if we're in person.
Yeah.
Like Zoom is a little bit different, but man, when we're in person, you're like feel like you're on a high because everyone's like way up here. And it took a while to understand all of that, but it's pretty amazing. So tell me, what's next for you?
Well, I think that I Colorado, but I think I need to let that go so I can support all my center owners that have their eggs that are in the family so that they're helping 10 people a day. And so I'm helping them to help 10 people a day. I think it's just going to be better use of my time because
Yeah,
I have to let something fall off. I can't be doing 2.5 full-time jobs.
yeah,
Yeah. So something
totally
has
get
to
that.
give. Yeah.
Totally get that. Gail, I want to thank you for being on our summit. A wealth of information. For those of you that are listening, if you want to share this summit with other people, please have people register at sixfiguresouls.com so they can hear all of our experts. And you can continue the conversation in our Facebook group. Tell us what you thought of this interview and recommend it if you really loved it. Thanks, Gail, for a fantastic interview. Bye bye.